Hi, this is Kareen's VSG, and I am going to come to you for an update on both my VSG surgery and my plastic surgery. This is February 24th, I believe, Monday, February 24th, 2020. And so I just thought I'd come to you with an update. And this one's going to be labeled, I'm hiding food from my husband. Because that may sound bad, but it's not as bad as you think. Okay, so my journey started back in 2016 when I started having 3 episodes of tachycardia that were so damaging or so scary that when I talked to a cardiologist, he suggested that I have vertical sleeve gastrectomy based on my family history and based on the fact that I was at least 100 pounds overweight. So, and even though losing the weight would not have stopped the tachycardia, it was all related. So, so in 2016, in July of 2016, I had an ablation done where they went in and zapped the extra nerve that was in my heart that was a result of a birth defect, which I didn't know I had. I was 56 years old, 55 years old. Let's see, today's 2020, 55 years old, 54. Anyway, this is 2020. That was 2016. This is 4 years ago. I'm 58 now. So yeah, I was 54. Okay. So, anyway, so I did check into it and, I started counseling. I believe in August of that year, I started nutritional counseling and also psychological counseling. I started, I think, a month later. That only lasted a couple of months, maybe 3 or 4 months. I only met with the psychologist 3 or 4 times, and he cleared me for surgery. So, but anyway, so I did that, but it actually ended up, so in August, it would be August, September, October, November, December, January. I was supposed to have 6 months, of pre-surgery counseling, which I did. I went through January, February, I went through August, September, October, November, December, January. And then they didn't think I was still ready. I don't know why, because I evidently was. So February, March, and April, I finally had it. Or was it the end of March? End of March, I finally had it and said, when are we going to schedule this? This is the 8th month of, this will be coming up, the 8th month of counseling. I mean, that's 8 months of counseling. Who does 8 months of counseling before having their VSG surgery? Oh, has it been 8 months? They said to me. So literally they scheduled it for within a week. And I was scheduled for May 4th, 2017 for vertical sleeve gastrectomy surgery. My beginning weight at the beginning of all this was about 230. Through my counseling, I probably went down to I went about 6 pounds down. They wanted me to stay the same because they didn't want me to lose weight out of it. Anyway, so they wanted me to stay in the same range, so I did. I was within 6 pounds for that 8 months, and so when I started my liquid diet, I was 224, and that was a week-long liquid diet. I think could have been 2 weeks. You know, this is why you should do this right away. And go back and look at my videos. I probably have it written on there or said on there somewhere. Anyway, so then I did a liquid diet, and when I got done with the liquid diet, I was at 204. And so at surgery day, I was 204 pounds. And now my lowest weight since surgery has been 139.6 or 139.8, something like that. I should probably look back at this. I don't have anything written down. Anyway, that was the week I did the CHIP program, which is Complete Health Improvement Program. If you've not heard of it, check it out. And it's all plant-based, and it's really good, and it can actually cure diabetes and heart disease, and some cancers. And so I did that in September of 2018, and I did that. I think it was an 8-week program. I want to say it's longer than that, but maybe it wasn't. I don't know. So anyway, September, October, November. Yeah, I think it was 8 weeks. So I did that. So that was my lowest, 139 something. And so then I started having really, really bad rashes under my stomach. And so because of that, I went to the doctor and they gave me medication to cut the rashes, but it just kept happening. I was also having rashes in my belly button because my upper stomach was hanging over my belly button, and that'll become a problem as I'll talk about later. So I saw doctors for that, had recordable incidences of rashes, and in fact, and so then anyway, so I then in I want to say October of 2019, I finally saw a surgeon in Duluth. His name it's gone. It's gone. I think it's Jason. It's gone. Yeah, it's gone. Anyway, so I saw a surgeon and he said, definitely you would qualify for insurance to pay for a penicillectomy, which is the removal of the stomach below the belly button. But he said insurance companies refuse to pay for anything other than that. I says, well, it's hanging over my belly button. And he says, no, they won't even pay for it. They consider it cosmetic surgery, so they will not pay for it. Great. So he said, but I'll give you a good deal. I says, well, tell me how much it would cost to do both. And what it turned out to be was not so much a tummy tuck as more, he would do muscle repair. So there would have been muscle repair on the upper tummy, and then he would take the penicillectomy off. Or he would do a penicillectomy, sorry. So that we and I said, okay, as long as you can schedule that, because I had used up my deductible last year, as long as you schedule it before the end of the year. So the scheduler called me about a week later and she says, I'd like to schedule your surgery. And I says, well, we got to get in before the end of the year. I've used up my deductible. I do not want to pay an extra $3,000 for this because my deductible is $3,000 a year for just me. And so she said, oh, that won't happen. I said, he promised me that before the end of the year, he could squeeze me in. And so then he did. They scheduled me for the 31st of December, the last day of the year. So New Year's Eve day, I went in for surgery and I don't know how much they took off. I don't know if they weighed it. I haven't asked that question. But they took off the penicillectomy and did a muscle repair in my stomach. And they literally, that was an in and out procedure. I went in the morning and I don't know how long the surgery was, but it was a good 5 to 6 hours from the time I went in till the time I woke up. And then I was really groggy. I don't think we left there until, I want to say 6 or 7 o'clock at night. Maybe it was a little earlier because they were closing up. It was Lake Walk Surgery Center. So anyway, so then we stayed in a motel that night and then we headed back home the next day. So now, to catch up to what's going on now, I'm healing. I still have residual pain. So this is nearly 2 months out. This is the last week of the second month. So if you don't count the 31st, 20, whatever, if you don't count all those extra days, 2 months out from surgery, I'm still having pain right around my belly button area. I'm having a little bit, I have muscle pain when I do certain things. I have muscle pain. Yesterday I had some pain on my side from the stitches or something. I don't know, something was poking into me maybe and making it hurt. We went on a trip and we were gone all day long, and so I don't know if that was part of it. But I do have numbness across my stomach. I still have some skin that is really, really sensitive and feels like it's burning. I had that sensation probably for about 3 weeks. And so, yeah, so the first week though, I literally was out on my back the whole time. So I'm going to move you over here a little bit. So anyway, yeah, so that, I'm still having some pain. And maybe it's because I'm old. I don't know. You young people have had this surgery recently. You're bouncing back way quicker than I am. And I've had nothing to do but rest. So I don't know how you guys do this. I mean, some of you have children. Some of you are, working. And I just don't know how you do it. But, yeah, so I'm doing better. I'm getting out and about. And now the weather is starting to clear up here in Minnesota. So where we had some really nice days, Saturday, Sunday, today. The snow is melting. We've melted some ice, so I might be able to get out and walk some. I've done a little walking yesterday. I did a little today. I've set my goal for walking steps at 5,000, and I did that about a month ago. And I was really never even reaching 3,000 at that point. But now I've surpassed my 5,000 steps a day at least 3 or 4 times in the last week. And so that's good. And so I'm actually thinking of upping my minimum goal to, or my step goal to 6,000 or 7,000 every day, and see how that goes. But I'm also doing some challenges. Lisa and Alisa from Mini Me in Tennessee, we did a Weekend Warrior Challenge, which was 2 days. And she won the first one, and I won the second one. And so that's really fun to have somebody who's had the same things done, do challenges together. So if you're on Fitbit, and you want to add me, just connect with me somehow, and we'll see if we can get each other on, and you can challenge me, and I can challenge you. So anyway, so today, to get back to the food thing, see, I'm still eating out of things like this, which is a 8 ounce. This is a cup, and I just had a little bit of cereal. I know it's late in the day, but that was what I wanted. I had some Cheerios. I eat about a cup in there, and there are things that I buy specifically for like breakfast or to snack on, or even for supper. For example, last Friday I boiled a dozen eggs, and I made egg salad for egg salad sandwiches, and I thought, well, that'll be good for my protein, and I can have some egg salad. I filled up a bowl like that and just ate it. I didn't use any bread because I'm trying to cut the carbs. So I just filled this up about to this level right here with egg salad. And I thought, well, I'll eat that for supper. And so that's what I ate for supper. It was gone Saturday. I had one. And then I had a couple crackers with it. So I put it on crackers. It was gone, literally gone. And so I boiled a couple extra eggs, and I put them in the drawer, and I'm hiding them from my husband. He does the same thing with my cheese sticks. He does this. I mean, and I don't blame him. It's like, I'm not saying you can't eat this, because he probably wouldn't eat it if I can't eat it. But it's like, he eats everything so fast. Even if I buy something that's just an occasional treat, like yogurt. I love Greek God's yogurt, the honey one. And so I thought last time I'll just buy him. I'll buy the honey one for me, and I'll buy him a lemon one. And I also bought wheat thins this last time. I bought the reduced fat wheat thins for myself, and I got him regular ones. And I told him, I says, yours is the regular ones. Don't touch mine. I says, I go to get a snack, and if I don't have something to snack on that's healthy, then I end up wandering the house, and I end up finding things that's not healthy for me. So he didn't touch my wheat thins, but he ate both containers of yogurt. No, he ate the full container of lemon yogurt, and then he started on mine. And when he eats it, I don't know about you guys, but this yogurt gets like a liquid on top of it if you eat it, because I buy the bigger one. And I just take like 2 or 3 tablespoons out of it, and that's all I eat. And I like to just carve it out of the top, and he mixes it all in and makes it all mushy. So I have started hiding food, which I have never had to do before. But in order to get the things that I need to eat into me, or the things that I should be eating into me, I have to hide it, because he'll eat everything that's available. And sometimes he even says, well, I don't like this stuff, but then he eats it. And I just don't understand it. So I've taken to hiding food from my husband so that I have something to eat when I want to eat, or when I want to snack or something. And I don't know why he does that, but he's always been a snacker, always. And so I just don't understand how to get him to understand that there's got to be food in the house for me to eat. He can eat anything. I can't eat everything. And so I've been having an issue with it, but I'm getting to the point now where I'm just going to start writing my name on things. Don't touch this, because he literally thinks he's just entitled to it if it's in the house. And it just becomes, and then what happens to me is, like, when everything that I need to eat, the protein I need or whatever, is gone. And so then I search for food that is not good for me, like potatoes or bread or whatever it is. And so I've just taken to hiding food from my husband. And I feel bad about it, but what do you do? I mean, you got to have food in the house. And I hate grocery shopping. Hate it. I didn't used to mind it, but it is so expensive. We used to spend what we spend on groceries now, we used to spend on a family of 5. And I just don't understand why it has to cost so much. And we're not eating a lot of stuff. I mean, I hardly eat anything, right? But yeah, I just hate that it costs so much. $300 for 2 people to eat for 2 weeks to 3 weeks. And then what happens is I don't go back to get more groceries after 2 or 3 weeks, and then it's like we're scrounging for things. And when you scrounge for things, you scrounge for what's left in your cupboard, which means foods that are preservative type foods that you probably shouldn't be eating, right? And so macaroni and cheese, or whatever it is. And it's just, I just hate doing it. So anyway, so I've just decided I'm just going to start. In fact, I'm going to have a drawer specifically for mine, and I'm just going to tell him don't eat anything in that drawer, because that's what I need to eat with, and see if that will help. I just, I don't blame him. He earns the money. He should be able to eat whatever he wants. But when he says he doesn't like something, then don't eat it. Just because it's there doesn't mean you can eat it. And I've bought him things that he alone can eat, like cookies and other kinds of crackers. He's got graham crackers, and he's got saltines, and he eats all that stuff. And when he runs out of that stuff, he scrounges for more and complains because there's not more stuff. So anyway, so I've taken to hiding food from my husband. So the last time I stepped on the scale, though, was the other day, and I had gotten, and I know I did this because I was eating a lot of carbs and I was eating a lot of junk. I was up from 142 to 146, but I'm not worried about it. I didn't weigh myself today. I don't plan on weighing myself today. I'll try maybe tomorrow. I need to get, and I'm having a terrible, terrible time getting my water in. I don't know about you guys, but I'm having a terrible time water. And this I have found to be true. I don't know if this is true for you. Please mention it below. Comment below, see how you're handling it. I find that if I'm going to take a bottle, okay, here's my Powerade. They've changed the Powerades if you haven't found out. This is a 32-ounce bottle. I found it by accident in Cotton, Minnesota yesterday. It was 2 for $2.75, which is really expensive because I can get it at Walmart for like 80 cents. But they had it there, and I was out exploring with my husband. And this is the old bottle. See the stripes here? This is the old bottle? Yeah. This bottle has 32 ounces in it. The new bottles have 28 ounces in it. They have cut the amount of liquid in there by 4. Don't know why. Something about the fact that people want less in their bottles, that's a bunch of garbage. They just wanted to charge the same amount of money for a lot less liquid, or a lot less product. So anyway, this is what I drink. But I have found that if I open this up, take a drink, and put it down, then I go hours without it. But if I use a straw, I find that I drink a lot more liquids. In fact, and it doesn't bother my stomach as much. I was always told that you're not supposed to have a straw when you've got this surgery. Well, if the straw keeps you drinking more, then maybe that's what you should be doing. So I bought some plastic straws on Amazon this last weekend, and like a Friday. And so I have straws now in my refrigerator. I had broken the straw on one of my Contigo cups. And then this last week, I broke the little flapper thing on top. That's supposed to, it's the auto close thing on it. Ticks me off because it popped off, and we tried to put it back on. And by the time we got it back on, the plastic knobs on the ends had worn down so much that now it won't even stay on. And you can't buy just the cover from Contigo. So I ordered another one of those cups. It's supposed to be coming today. I don't know if it will or not, but I ordered another one of those cups. And then I'll just use the other one here where I don't have to travel with it. And so that if the straw, but the straw on that one broke a long, long time ago in the dishwasher. So I ordered all these extra straws. I think I ordered like, did I order 12 straws? Or is it 16? It might be 16 straws. It could be even more than that. With the straw cleaner and everything, which I hadn't had up to now. And so I will be using those in my water. In fact, I should have one in here. I bought the 11-inch ones. I only paid like $8.99 for them, or $7.99 for all of them. You go into a store and buy those straws, and they're expensive. So I got those, and I'm gonna start using those because then I know that I'm drinking more liquids. And I'm actually tempted, just to do something interesting. I'm actually tempted to burn a hole in the top of my cap, in the top of one of these caps, and then just use this. I have a metal straw out there that I had bought with, to kind of use with my other cup. But if I warm that metal straw up, I could probably poke a hole right through here, and I can stick my straw right through the cover, and I'll just keep this cover and use it from bottle to bottle. I don't know if I'm going to do that or not yet, but I'm tempted because I know if I've got a straw, I will drink more liquids. So that's going to be one of my challenges coming up here. I need to increase my water. I'm not even drinking one of these a day sometimes, which is only 32 ounces, 28 ounces on the new ones. So, and I'm getting other liquids too, like in soup and stuff like that. But still, to me, I have always thought that I need to get my 64 to 80 ounces of water in like this every day. And I've been trying. So that's my goal anyway. And I'm sorry I'm such a hot mess. I just literally did not take a shower today because I didn't have to. My hair is kind of icky, but I took a shower on Saturday morning, so I'll take one tonight before I go to bed. But anyway, so that's a few things that I need to do this week. And so anyway, I can't think. Oh, and then I'll start walking this week too. Saturday, I actually was in church, and the sermon that we listened to was a pretty good sermon. And it talked about who was our neighbor. And just sitting in church, it made me think of my neighbor who had broken her leg coming down off of the bleachers at a hockey game. She'd broken her leg, and then her husband had like back surgery, like within a week of each other. And so I thought, I'm sitting in church, and I'm like, their name came up, and so I need to make them some food. So Saturday I came home from church and I made them some mushroom patties, and I made some broccoli for them because I read online that broccoli is really good for broken bones. So and dropped it off at their house, and that just made me feel really good that I could help them out for a couple meals at least. They have 3 little boys, and so 3 young children anyway. And so I thought I did that on Saturday, and so I'm wondering how she's doing today. Mushroom patties, by the way, are something that my family used to make for every single potluck we ever went to when we were growing up. Mushroom patties I'll give you the recipe really quick because it's just simple. It's a package of Pepperidge Farm breading crumbs, the blue bag. It's one of those packages, one of the big cottage cheese, doesn't matter which one, 2 eggs, and a little bit of milk depending on how wet the cottage cheese is. If the cottage cheese is really wet, then you don't want to put any milk in. If it's kind of a dry cottage cheese, or I think it's the stuff that's a little bit thicker, maybe like a 4%, then you don't really need, then you'll need to add like a half a cup of milk or whatever, just to get the crumbs to melt. You form those into patties, like a hamburger patty. Form them into patty, and they're sticky, so you gotta, I just kind of go like this around the edge, so as I'm making it, just like you would a hamburger patty. You fry them on both sides so they're brown on both sides. You put them in a cake pan, and then or some kind of a pan, and you cover them with mushroom soup. I use the 25% less sodium mushroom soup from Campbell's because that tastes the best. Sometimes it just gets so salty if you don't. You put that on top, and I put usually 2 to 3 cans on. Sometimes I put it in a bowl, mix in a little milk with it so that it becomes more of a gravy. And then you pour that over the top of these mushroom patties. You put them in the oven for 45 minutes, and you take them out and eat them, and they are delicious. They're probably not carb friendly though, but they do have protein in them. They have 2 eggs and the cottage cheese, but the crumbs are probably not carb friendly. But I don't know how many crumbs you'd actually be getting in them, to be honest. I've never figured it out. Nobody's ever told me what the calorie count for them would be or anything. But if you want to try a really good vegetarian recipe, it's not vegan, then I suggest that one. My mom used to put a little bit of sage in it to give it a little bit more flavor. You can put garlic powder in it, onion powder in it. You actually, if you love onions, could put onions in it, celery in it, anything like that. My family doesn't like that in it, and my mom never put them in there. Maybe she did, and I just don't remember. But I think it would be awesome with onions in it, or scallops, or scallions, or whatever. And then pepper or parsley flakes. I put parsley flakes in pretty much everything. So you can season it like that. Put some onion powder and garlic powder in it, and it gives a little bit more flavor. And you can actually use the mushroom gravy or the mushroom soup with the garlic in it, and that also works. But then you just bake it, and it is so good, and it's so good warmed up that you can use it for a couple meals, definitely. Because I think you could probably, well, as VSG patient, I could only eat one. And if you're not a VSG patient, you probably could get 2, sometimes 3 in, just depending on how big a hamburger or patty you make. But anyway, it's a neat little recipe. I should have probably recorded as I made it, and then you would have seen. But it's really easy to make. You just mix it all up in the pan with your hands or whatever you want to do, and then just make the patties and fry them on both sides. The frying part is the messiest part because you got to use oil. I used olive oil, and then and you've got to, and they stick because of the mushroom soup. So get the pan really hot before you put it in there. And I actually tried it on my griddle this last time, and that worked really well because it's a nonstick griddle. And so another thing that works really good is a cast iron pan. I found that it stuck to my nonstick pan, regular pan, terribly, but to my griddle it didn't do so bad. So just a quick recipe. So anyway, so I think that's everything for now. Please keep me in your prayers. And I'm watching Patrice as she recovers. I'm watching Grace as she recovers. I'm watching Dory as she's going through her struggles. Dory, I totally support you in your decisions. Keep going. You have to do what's best for you, and God is going to bless you in that and your niece at the same time. So because you really just don't want to live like that. So and I've been watching, and I really miss Lynn. And I miss several of you that haven't posted in a long time. I watched some of you on Instagram, but I really don't like Instagram. I don't like the whole thing of Instagram. And so, yeah. So anyway, so if you haven't subscribed to me before and you're just watching this for the first time, then hit the bell and subscribe, and then you'll be notified when I upload another video. I'm going to have to edit this one because my dog barked in the middle of it, so it may take me a while to get this going. But you guys all have a great time, and I will talk to you next time. All right, bye everyone. Have a good week.